Show on the road. We're live.
Tweet.
Oh, no.
We're live.
Tweeting that we're live, and now we're actually live. I love it.
We're really live. Oh, look at that!
Whoa,
I can
this
see
one's-
it. See us
Hey,
on
this
Twitch.
layout
too.
sucks.
Yeah.
It doesn't work at all. Let's go back.
Yeah. Whoa. There we go. Look
This
at that.
one's
Looks
kinda
much
nice.
better.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. Look at that. We
How's
got.
everyone today?
We're good. How are you?
I'm doing really well.
I was just thinking, and I
Uh,
hope you don't take offense to this, because I know you're from Tennessee, but man, you definitely have like the gambler mustache going. You know, it's like getting there, and I just imagine you in like a suit with a top hat on
You know
like a
what?
steamboat.
You can be a riverboat
Gambling.
millionaire.
Yeah.
If only. No, I would love to live on a steamboat and just swindle people for a living.
Wouldn't that be
Live in a Mark Twain novel. That'd be great.
Mhm.
You can dress up like Tom
Yeah.
Hanks's character in Lady Killers.
Oh God.
You
I
can
need to
become a
let
professional
my hair
drifter.
grow truly white before
Yeah.
I can pull that look off. But
You don't
yeah,
have-
no, I would look really good in like a cream suit. Oh yeah.
I have
with like
one.
with a bolo tie,
Yeah.
you know, with the little metal circle thing and the two little strips. No, maybe not.
I hate both.
It's not for me, but I do love the aesthetic. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
have
You look a little Colonel
three-piece
Sanders.
suit and it's fantastic.
hmm
3-piece is always nice to wear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it drives me nuts when people will button their jacket because you're not supposed to
Yeah.
with a 3-piece.
You button. Well, yeah. With a 3-piece, it looks awkward no matter what. With a 2-piece, you only button the top.
Yeah.
Sometimes, always, maybe. No, never.
Exactly.
Sometimes, always, never.
Maybe never.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I learned that from Queer Eye.
That's a good show. The new one or the old one?
The old one. I've never
The
seen
new one's good,
one,
too.
But
The new one's
Yeah.
pretty good. The new one's interesting.
It's very wholesome.
I just
They
watch
do-
TV.
I saw one episode. They're like fixing up some redneck in Georgia, and they're just like going through his house, and they pull out a Trump flag, and they just shove it back and go, "Nope, we're not touching that. Not even remotely touching that."
Like, it's bad luck to see that stuff. I don't know how this is gonna go today. It's fine. I like it. That's a good show.
Yeah.
Awkward.
Yeah.
Hi.
Awkward. Tired.
So we're with Wells.
Yes.
That's
and
me.
How are you doing? How is the temperature down there today?
It's cold. It's like 27 degrees Fahrenheit, which is, I know, like laughable for a New Yorker, but
I mean,
It
27 can be cold up here too. You know.
and like cold is cold. It's
Yeah.
it's not going to get to 0 down here, but it is going to get real uncomfortable. I have to worry about
Really?
my plants.
I see.
so.
Now I actually save Nashville on my phone. I realize you're not necessarily Nashville.
No, I'm in Nashville proper.
Yeah.
How are you?
It says it's 36. And
Oh,
Oh
some,
wow!
I mean,
Someone's lying for someone's lying for
so we have
followers.
we have an expression in the South, and it changes state to state. But welcome to Tennessee. You don't like the weather? Wait 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
It tends to swing pretty wildly. It'll warm up throughout the day pretty rapidly. Like when I woke up this morning, when I went outside, it was 24, 25, 26 degrees. Now it's 36. It'll probably get up to like 50 degrees, and then by the time the sun sets, it'll be at like 31 again.
Oh.
So it's just
I mean,
up and down and up and down. It'll rain at some point.
oh, you know what? We're competing with Amaranth again, doing that ASMR.
Do you want me to lick my microphone?
I can get in way closer if you need me to.
just begin to make noises. Hello.
How are we doing today, everybody?
I like that's really good.
Maybe
I like
Talking
it because
about
you get a
comics.
little bit of the light on your face too.
When
yeah,
did
the red
you-
light from the
Yeah.
snowball.
She's doing that. She's doing that thing again where she's like licking the thing on the microphone. I just pulled it up to see. I don't know. It's real weird. Like, yeah. But you know, she's got like 10.8K people watching her do it, so it must be doing something
Yeah,
right.
I love it.
Yeah,
I hope she gets so much money from creepy dudes.
Yeah.
You know,
There's-
just take it all.
Not to jump right into
Yeah.
the topic, there are things in this world I don't understand. Comics require such intense labor and artistry and passion to make happen, much like a film. But then, like a good comic will sell a couple of tens of thousands of copies, I think, on a
I
very
would-
good
I
day.
would agree there.
And then a good streamer is pulling in that many number of views per day.
Yeah.
And there's different opportunity costs there, but it's just the amount of effort versus eyeballs is staggering.
Yeah. One of my favorite comics from the last few years is the Transformers one. I've talked about it quite a bit.
Was that the one that they skipped the inking stage? They just went from pencils to coloring. No, that was GoBots. Never mind.
Yeah.
That was a different one. Sorry.
GoBots.
Fucking GoBots.
I remember GoBots.
GoBots. The fuck is that?
A bunch of busters.
She is licking this thing so much that she has a towel to wipe it off.
I don't think we need
Sorry.
to know that.
We don't need the running commentary.
No.
That's my
No,
bad.
because that could be
I
a
was just
lot of
curious.
things. I don't
That's
know
why we're
what you're watching
competing.
now.
Okay.
So
Oh,
you know what? At the end, I'm gonna
Let's
go
talk
into.
about comics.
I'm gonna make a shortened clip of this entire stream that's just you saying that sentence, and we'll use
Yeah,
it
it
for
just
promo
repeats over and over. She's
Yeah.
licking that so much that she
Every
needs a
time
towel.
Chris refers to Amaranth licking something.
I changed it now. I've got us up so we can get somebody watching, which is me.
Dope.
Where is everybody? Come on.
It's Super Bowl
It's
Sunday.
Super Bowl Sunday.
It is.
What do you think
But
everyone is?
The Super Bowl's not for like 4 more hours.
The Super
And-
Bowl's been happening nonstop for the last week.
Oh.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Super Bowl is not a game. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. Let's talk about Super Bowl bets. No, I'm just kidding. I saw somebody though. Okay, there's a joke. I saw somebody share their bet that they made. It was $50 bet, and it was all on Odell Beckham, like all of Odell Beckham's prop bets, like first TD of the game, 2 TDs over the game, like however many yards, and like the full. And I don't understand betting that well. Yeah, I just kind of put money on things that other people are doing, and crossing my fingers that it works out. And he put all the prop bets together into a parlay, and like off of $50, if Odell Beckham does all these things, he's going to make like $8,000. And
Okay,
that's, I mean, Kickstarter.
I don't
So
get
we should
it.
just bet.
Again,
I don't either. It's ridiculous.
gambling.
Yeah.
I get
Which you
horse
guys
ra-
know nothing
I understand
about,
horse
having
racing.
having
That's it.
published a comic called The Final Gamble,
Yeah.
which
I'm
I got around to
actually-
reading last
Did
night.
you,
Yeah.
did you like it? Was it
Oh,
okay?
I did. No, I did. I really
It's
enjoyed
a-
it.
It's a good first issue that sets up everything.
It's extremely solid. There was one line that in the back of my mind I was like, it would be really cool if in issue like 4 or 5 we found out that this line is a lie, that it was a bluff. Where the guy is talking about his family. It seems to be like very sincere, but the way it was delivered, I was like, I wonder if he's
No
saying it in
spoilers.
this specific way because he thinks it'll convince the other guy that no, I really am just a humble family dude. I don't want you to spill the beans on your own property, so I'm not gonna make you answer.
What'd you
I
think
like
of the
the
last
guess.
page?
It's definitely it was a good hook. Release the dick cut. That's always my
The
answer.
dick cut. Release the dick cut.
I have the same
Get on
complaint
the parade.
for Grant's Toys side quests. Release a dick cut.
Yeah, release the dick cut.
In the first issue, they have a it's a wolf that turns into a man. So it's I guess a wolf wear. And it like jumps to attack, and there's like a big side quest logo over his dick, and I'm like, release the dick cut.
Release the dick cut. Did you get a
But,
physical copy or did you get the
No, I
digital?
don't have.
Well, he didn't
I
get his
haven't-
physical yet. If he did,
Yeah, they're still. at the
I haven't
picture
gotten it
first.
in the mail, so I'm
Okay.
assuming I just got the digital copy.
they're still.
No,
at the
but I
printer.
think the
You
best part
you're
of
gonna
that
get one of
comic-
these though. You're gonna get one of
Dope.
these, which are super.
Hell yeah, that is
So these came out really nice. Sorry, I interrupted you. I
That's really
apologize.
awesome. No, I was gonna say I think the best part of at least to me, the best little detail in Final Gamble was the fact that they're starting with like a combined $550 and competing against two guys that explicitly have like $100,000, and it's like if you know the first thing about poker, you're like, okay, so they can just buy them out immediately. This is over.
Yeah.
Like this is way over before it even started. You can just all in someone until they run out of money. They're never gonna win every round.
Never ever. It's cool.
Yeah, it's a story where like the characters themselves don't even understand how much of a hopeless situation they're in.
Yeah.
It's like life.
No, I think it's a great like microcosm for anyone that is like, I don't know. You could balloon it out into a lot of things. Like to me, it immediately sums up like, you know, if you want to get into tech and like try and compete with Amazon, good fucking luck.
Yeah,
they'll just immediately be like, nope, you're done.
No, it's one of the things I liked so much about the story is that it's such a great metaphor for like so many different walks of life where the system is immediately stacked against you and structured against you, and like
so it's basically about comics.
I mean, yeah. No, and again, to me, it's sort of read as like we're a small publisher. This is our first comic. We're trying to make it. This is sort of what it feels like going up against Marvel and DC, where their market share is so ridiculous. It's like, well, if we become significant, they could just choose to buy us, and that's really like,
I mean,
if that ever happened,
what
are we going to do about it? Like,
hopefully, I mean, if that happens, I hope it happens when I'm near retirement.
Sure.
Because as much as I'd like to do it into my 80s, I don't know if I can.
Yeah. And it speaks to the absurdity of American industry that comics are one of the least monopolistic, like, creative industries out there right now. Like, you obviously have the big two, and that's a massive market share, but you also have Image, Boom, Dark Horse, Vault, Scout. You have, like... a massive number of indie titles that are allowed, that are allowed to exist in the same ecosystem and do pretty well for themselves.
Yeah, it's funny because like if you look at the top 10 publishers, you get outside of the top 3, top 5, and they like have 1% market share.
Yeah,
you know, and then it's funny. You know, there's the joke with the Startup Bros that they're one of their great sellers. If we could just capture 1% market share, but the thing is, like,
it's like if you become one of the most respected indie publishers in the business, you can capture 1% of the market share. Good for you.
Basically, everybody. So, Marvel, DC, then Image, and that's 80-ish% of the market.
Right.
So and you got everybody below them in the top 10 has between 1% and 3% of the market. And it's really, you know, from like the business side of it, the business nerd, like that's interesting stuff for me to look at and see. Like, it's crazy. And because circling back to the point I was making about the Transformers comic is that one has only been selling through Diamond's numbers at least a little over 8,000 per issue, and they're like pushing issue number 40. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So like, it's funny if you look at how many you need to sell to be self-sustaining, and I think Chris and I have talked about it. Like, 5,000 is kind of like that benchmark to hit. If you can sell 5,000 copies of a comic, you can more or less keep it self-sustaining. You're not running gangbusters by any means, but like, you're certainly going to sustain continued growth and production of that comic series, and make a little bit of money off of it. You know, if you can sell 10,000, you're looking really good.
There's a popular theory about that I've heard batted around about being like an independent artist, creating your own stuff, selling your own stuff. It's if you can get like, I think it's like 1,000 true fans, just 1,000 people who consistently buy your stuff, then you have like a career. That's all you need. You need 1,000 people to buy in and consistently be like, yeah, I want to buy his comic, and you're fine. You don't need to be famous. You need to just like find your people.
That's really what it is, right? It's about connecting with people on an emotional level that will bring them into, you know, a brand or a personality or however you want to say it. Because like when we talk about brands, for a company, I like to think of it that's their personality. You know,
Yeah.
it drives me nuts when people talk about how individual people need to build their brand. Like, no, motherfucker, you need to build a personality. But
Uh-oh. Which is me. Wait, Streamlabs just yelled at me.
That's okay. They can yell. Yeah, I think whenever. Oh shit!
Yes.
Streamlabs just ruined my train of thought.
That's okay. I never had a train of thought.
Yeah, me either.
I'm struggling. I finished up packaging all of the Prospects Kickstarters packages. So
That's nice.
yeah, we've got like 8 people who wanted Final Gamble in their package, so we'll be holding off on those. And then I think there's like 4 sitting over here that I still need their addresses. So I'm trying to figure.
There's always
out
the stragglers.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think of how annoying I can be reminding them to confirm their shipping information on backer kit before I start to piss them off. But
Right.
I got you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want the comic that you spent money on? No, be annoying. I don't.
No, be annoying. Look, if I hate that we're a little bit delayed on it. You know, I would have liked them to be out, but
Yeah, that's super
That's just the
annoying. But
reality
like that's
of it.
printing right now.
Yeah.
it's just the
I don't think
delays
people
with
realize
everything.
how many moving parts are behind.
Oh, so many.
Let alone a publisher, just a comic. Like, I think the first MechaTon Kickstarter hit like I'm gonna say at least 4 snags that delayed fulfillments, and it was relatively smooth, all things considered.
Yeah.
Like the art went pretty smoothly, the lettering went really smoothly. We found a printer really, really quickly. It was just problems with international shipping, problems with like setting up stamps.com and getting the equipment that I needed and working with the colorist. And that was it. But there were so many different points that could have gone horrifyingly wrong. And even those small points of contention still costs like,
Right.
1 or 2 months of time of just like, well, sorry, it's not out yet. We're trying.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that we're really trying to be clear and put out there is that comics is like a long game, just to
It really
get
is.
started. So like with us being a pretty new independent publisher, I mean, if things go right this year with our plan, then we can probably speed it up a little bit. But it just is. It's a marathon, not a sprint, unfortunately.
It really is.
Lots
No,
of
it
sitting
takes-
around and waiting.
Yeah.
Time and energy and infrastructure and money and people. A lot of people who are like us understand that. Like the people in the community understand it, but a lot of people who like
There's a lot of people within the
expect
community
to
that don't.
see media like instantaneously.
Yeah.
That have been
People-
spoiled by like Netflix and
Just from owning a phone, like
yeah.
everything's at the
I
tip
have
of your
an-
fingers.
I have the most comics that I could ever ask for by going to Webtoon and just scrolling. Like,
Yeah.
why do I need to pay $5 on Kickstarter to get a comic 6 months later? I
Yeah.
totally sympathize with that, and at the same time, I'm like, well, do you want comics ever? Because that's the reality.
Yeah, I mean, how much money are those folks creating all those comics and webtoons bringing in? Because so many of them are just out there for free because someone is trying to at least showcase their work and get more attention to it, and hopefully someone wants to pay them to make it.
Yeah, my favorite question to ask other content creators is, what's your real job?
Yeah.
What do you do for money? I know what you do. I know what you want your job to be. What do you do for money?
Yeah.
What is your job? I supervise a call center.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's
I'm
my,
a server.
it's actually
I know.
great.
Yeah.
Hotel?
Hotel bar, yeah.
Hotel, yeah. My friend who lives in Arkansas manages a hotel. Watch me know the person. His name's
What
Sean.
hotel?
He's a manager. It's in I don't know if he's there anymore. where is it's a spring, some sort of springs.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's near.
Because I worked in a
it's-
couple of hotel bars in Little Rock too, and I was like, oh god, am I gonna have some dirt on Chris's rent?
This is amazing. I mean, yeah. So, but I worked in a hotel. I washed dishes when I was 16.
I started.
Which
I started
one?
rolling silverware for servers under the table when I was 12,
Yeah.
and then dishwashing at 14, 15, and hosting at 17, 18, and then serving.
We had it was the Clarion in Dunkirk.
Oh.
It was the Sheridan when I worked there. And
Yeah.
That place has had so many names.
it's
Almost
so
as many names as bed bugs.
well, and roaches. So let me tell you a story. So when we were in high school, remember that point in time when like Dimitri's closed? Dimitri's is a restaurant on the lake. And there was like a year, 2 years where the restaurant was closed, either closed or going under renovation or something. So while it was closed and there was no food there, all the roaches came over to the hotel. So it was swarmed. So I'm 16 years old and there are literally roaches everywhere, right? So we found, this is the grossest thing ever, but you know the cooking, the big, huge flat cooking trays that you do like bacon or like flat meats on, and they're huge. They're like, you could like bodyboard on one of these things. So underneath the ice maker in this kitchen was just like roach haven. Like they're all there, right?
That's the nest,
That's the nest, the colony.
Was
So
the movie Joe's Apartment? Or
yeah,
where's got all
kind
the
of.
roaches?
We took it was me and my friend Brett, and we both were dishwashers. And now it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, like one morning, real wild, 16 and 17-year-old kids, and took one of those trays. And as he pushed the dishwasher, I came down on the slippery floor on this tray and tried to like surf across the roaches
Oh god.
as they all came out from under this thing. So now the floor super greasy because it's a hotel kitchen floor and it was gross anyway. So that tray was going no matter what, but the second it hit some of those roaches, it like spun out of control.
Oh god.
I just remember falling and having like roach guts all over me, and they're still coming out from under this thing.
Oh
So,
lord.
It was great. It was a good time. To be 16.
Yeah. That saying about how the sausage gets made, people do not understand how many things that applies to.
Oh man, no, for sure. It's like yeah, the tray was gross on the bottom half of it too afterwards.
I believe it.
I quit that job at 4 o'clock in the morning once. There was a wedding, and it was only me and my buddy Brett there dishwashing, and I will tell you the pans were stacked to the ceiling.
Oh yeah.
And
No,
it's
I remember.
Yeah, it's like
I remember
4
what
a.m.
that's like.
I looked at it, I was like, I'm 16. I'm not doing this shit. And I walked out. Never came back.
Pretty sure that's a labor law violation.
Probably. Probably back then, too, when they actually cared.
'Cause I remember working at Burger King at 16, and they didn't really care to give you hours until you hit 17 and you could work past 9 p.m.
Yeah.
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 So I think 4 a.m. was probably not the within the school.
No, not the move. But that's the restaurant industry. It's like it's very labor intensive, and
Yeah, it sure is.
I'm thankful to be a part of it because it allows me to have a very flexible schedule. But it is certainly like it is not one of those jobs that like you hear about that like consists mostly of bullshit work where you're just kind of like moving things on a spreadsheet back and forth for
That's my day
like
job.
3 out
Sure.
of 8 hours. Yeah, you're basically just doing nothing for like 3 to 4 of the 8 hours that you're there. The actual work gets done in like 2 to 3 hours, and you're just bored the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Serving tables, you're pretty much on your feet doing
Moving
things
the
the
whole
entire time, or you should be.
Or
if
you're
you're
out
not,
of
you're a
business.
bad. Like
That
you're not
actually, I
bad,
should
you're
probably get a job because I could use some weight loss, and if I'm walking around all day, it might be good.
oh yeah, it keeps me
Weight loss.
more fit than I am. I'm not gonna say fit, but it keeps me from ballooning.
Now, I put this shirt on and I was like, I think they shrank. Yeah, they shrank.
The shirt shrink, or you're just getting bigger?
It might
This
be
is
little-
a problem with my washing machine. This isn't me.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think it did shrink a little, but because my arms didn't grow, but my gut that's.
Yeah.
So, It's a little bit of both.
That's why I hold off washing my clothes for as long as I can.
Mhm.
Because the second you put them in the washer, they shrink or I get fat. So,
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, I dropped my chip.
Oh no.
Let's
So,
okay.
let's talk about
redirect. We talk
MechaTon.
about MechaTon. Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering if we were ever going to get around to it.
No, absolutely not. No, we can't go.
All
Tim,
right,
you want to go
let's-
first, or you just want to let Wells talk?
No, I should let Wells talk because it's
Oh.
a book, not mine.
All right, it's okay. MechaTon is a book. MechaTon is a book. It has many colored pages in it.
Hold on.
It has incredible art by Fernando Pinto, colors by Megan Casey, letters by Nathan Kempf. It's a lot of fun. I really have enjoyed making it and getting to be a part of that team. If you don't know, it's about a space glove that falls to Earth, and anything it punches turns into a mech. That our characters have to use to fight giant mutated insects.
That's
Nice.
the story?
Basically,
Yeah, you haven't read it?
I have a gigantic...
you haven't heard my many tweets on the subject.
I thought this was great.
Brain. There
And then
is the link for anybody who wants to go support the Kickstarter for
thank you.
MechaTon 2 in the last 70 hours.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was
We are.
I was
approaching
really
the finish line.
hoping you were going to be behind and you needed our help to not help you.
Wouldn't
I
that?
I didn't
Wouldn't
want
that have been ideal? No,
I'm
this
happy
is
that it's funded.
No.
I'm happy that
like
it's funded.
on like a personal life. This has been sort of a challenging time, like for me. But the campaign has not been a reason for that. The campaign has been super smooth. Supporters came out in droves. We got funded in the second week. It's just been, let's see if we can hit a stretch goal for a while. Whereas the first campaign was a 3.5 week long heart attack, thinking, well, my career in comics is dead before it started, and all this was for nothing, and I should just quit and give up on my dreams. This has been very reaffirming and encouraging, and I've really appreciated people showing out and helping.
I think you should be proud. I think it's a great story, and your first issue was tremendous. So
It's very beautiful, even if I haven't read it yet.
I have
though.
I have very high standards for myself, so I was never going to ship something that I wasn't 100% confident like could be on a shelf. And at the same time, it never like stops making me feel good when people are like, "Yeah, no, this is really really good." I was surprised by by how hard it went.
Kudos with going with a matte cover on this too, because it just
Matte covers are better. They just are.
so nice. It's so nice.
Paper is like a weirdly personal thing to everybody, and we spent like an absurd amount. Dalton and I spent an absurd amount of time just talking about paper quality and what printer we wanted to go with, and how much we needed the colors to pop versus how much gloss we wanted on the page. And one of the reasons that we went with this is that when you even when you hold it in the light, there's like basically no shine on the page. You can just it's never obstructive. And it feels very good. It's very like satin and cottony. And all this to say, order the physical copy if you go to the Kickstarter. It's worth it.
It's funny how much of a tactile thing comics are.
They really are.
You read a regular novel, you don't care really so much about the paper. Like sometimes it's neat. Like I was reading Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology, and the paper has that like really rough cut edge to make it look like an older book, and that's cool. That fits the book. But for the most part, who cares so much about the the paperback book?
I hate rough cut edges on novel. For the most part, I really do like Neil Gaiman's Norse mythology. I think that's a very fun book. Not even the rough cut edge. The paper edges that are like uneven, so it looks like ruffled and awful. Like I hate it. I will not buy a book if it has that kind of ruffled edge on it.
Poor print quality is one thing, but I can't imagine going and taking a novel to print and fussing over so many different options as you do with a comic book,
Oh,
and
for
it
sure.
actually mattering though to the end customer.
I am certain that someone somewhere in some poor publishing house has that job and
Yeah.
is that concerned. But
Yeah, but not the rest of America. of the
no.
world.
I
mean,
think
in general, I think the bigger concern for most publishers, comic book and prose and poetry, is getting people to fucking read, not so much the
That'd be
paper
nice.
quality. I think that's the bigger question: is how do we get people?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy first with them buying it. If you read it, that's cool too.
I mean,
Let's
yes,
just keep making more.
undoubtedly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
At the same time, I do like there's a reason that I'm sure people will be like, well, it doesn't look like the second. I'm like, your second campaign did as well as your first, because monetarily we are behind that campaign. But also the goal is a lot lower. I wasn't surprised by that. But to me, it's a much bigger success because the first campaign we were relying on basically a handful of people who really cared about it to push it over the line. And in this one, the biggest, like if I look at the analytics on Kickstarter, the biggest moneymaker has been our $15 physical catch-up tier. So people who either weren't on board for the first one and discovered it and are excited about it, or people who got the digital copy of the first one and said, this is cool enough, I want the physical copy.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm incredibly proud of
Catch-up
what we've done
tiers
so
are
far
do
with
it. I can tell you from just finishing all the prospects packages, like the catch-up tier that had like a combo issue of 1 and 2, and then number 3, which is a new one, like that was out of the physical rewards, that was far and away the most popular.
Oh yeah.
So it's nice to see that when people, want to get caught up on it too, because they may have missed the first one or the second one.
Yeah.
So,
I'm so glad that the second book funded, and we're getting a copy of it for the library.
Yeah, I'm excited to be shipping it out to you guys. It's a lot of fun. I really like how the second one has turned out. It has one of my favorite characters I've ever written in it, Hex, who is a little indie goblin. I love it. And has just like had enough of all this bullshit is like their entire deal. But
so without spoilers, what's happening in number 2?
Yeah, tell us the whole thing.
So number 1 ends with not to get too spoiler heavy, but it ends with the police kind of in a shootout, or in a very tense scenario with Derek and Leah. So we resolve that issue, try and figure out a little bit more about what the glove is and how it works, which obviously leads to some roadblocks because it is ultimately a piece of alien hardware and they are just guessing at what it's capable of. And then sort of trying to live their daily lives with the added problem of you now have a weapon strapped to your hand, and all that comes with that. The ending is really explosive and fun, and it dives into some complications that I am proud of, because I don't think a lot of creators would have gone there. I'm trying not to spoil things, but like the comic, the first issue ends with the police pointing guns at a kid who presents black, and I'm not shying away from that fact. It's uncomfortable, and that's kind of the point. And at the same time, the comic is still fun. It's not overly like heavy with that, but it isn't shying away from the fact that, yeah, this is a fucked up situation. This is bad.
What's been, so for me, answer this question. I'm going to ask as soon as I get it. Okay. So out of the whole process, self-publishing as a creator, assembling the team, getting, doing all the nitty gritty work of, doing a layout for your comic and working with other people, what's been the biggest stressor out of the whole thing for you? And maybe it's like a big stressor, but it's not really that big of a deal in the end. But like, what part of it did you dislike the most?
Ooh. Learning social media probably was the biggest stressor for me, because I've never really been very I am as loud as I am. This voice carries very far, but I am naturally very introverted, and I am very choosy about who I spend time with and how much I present myself out there. So getting on Twitter every single day and following what's happening, making myself tweet, seeing what other people are up to, commenting, posting memes, etc. Took at the very least initially a lot of active work. It's gotten a lot more natural now. But that was probably the thing that stressed me out the most initially. And then kind of tagged along with that, I guess, is trying to hunt down where all these people are that spend money on comics, and just trying to get it in front of them,
so people can
because see it. And it's a little you should never waste the time comparing yourself to other people who are successful. You should never do that, and I know that. And at the same time,
can't help it.
I am hyper aware of every single time a Kickstarter campaign gets a Project We Love badge. I am aware of every time a Kickstarter campaign hits their goal, exceeds their goal, hits like 10K. When they hit 300 backers, 400 backers, I see that and I'm like, how and where and how do I get it on that?
Right?
I want
stressful. I get the whole introvert thing, because a lot of that and putting yourself out there, especially for me, is like emotionally taxing. Like
it is.
as much as like I'm enjoying this conversation right now, by the end of it, I'm gonna be ready to take a nap.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna have lunch and fuck off for a little while.
I don't have that problem. I just don't like people.
That's fair. That's reasonable. People do kind of suck when you get down to it. No, I'm gonna spend at least 2 days off of social media when this campaign ends. I'm just gonna be like, okay, thank you so much, everybody. I love you. We'll update you as we come by. I'll be back later. Bye.
Yeah,
because I need time away, or I'll just go nuts.
Me too. You know what I'm really excited for, and I'm gonna say it because this is our show. Is I'm excited to read your story for From the Static.
Yeah, I'm excited to be making it.
It should be a good time, I think.
That's right, you have one of those.
Yes,
I do have one of those, yeah.
We're really excited.
I did not forget. Actually, I wanted to reread the pitch too before this, and I just did not have the freaking time this morning.
Listen, Tim and I were so meticulous about it that, there's a degree of you can't like to know somebody, but I feel like we were really good when picking these out, going by like the stories themselves. So I didn't even know it was yours until the end.
Yeah, it was pretty good the way this was all set up, so that like as we're reading the submissions, obviously you see like all the fields, right, name and email address and stuff, but then you get down to it, like it did help to be able to read a lot of this without having someone's name right there front and center as you're reading it, and
for sure,
not just go
being
and pick
objective.
the people you like. Just come on and load. I want to reread this pitch.
Oh man!
But as I'm reading it, would you like to tell a little bit about the infant or?
Yeah, so the infant is a in its essence, it's a cosmic horror story in, I hate this word, but sort of in a Lovecraftian vein, about a whaling vessel that goes to the Arctic and starts butchering a whale, and they find inside the whale this thing. They don't know what it is. They treat it with hostility, and it very quickly starts causing horrifying chaos on the boat. It was sort of born out of I have been working on yet another comic series because I can't leave well enough alone. I've got MechaTon, I've got Frankenstein. Both of those are either on Kickstarter or coming to Kickstarter soon. I've got like 2 or 3 graphic novels in the bag. I'm working on this one right now, as well as a handful of short scripts going out to anthologies because, again, I see an idea and I'm just like, go for it. So I'm working on this 5-issue miniseries that is very like Rime of the Ancient Mariner, Return of the Obra Dinn inspired. It sort of was born out of the sea shanty craze. I was just like, I can vibe with this. I want to sort of write the story about the people who would make these kind of songs. And as I got more and more into that, I was like, you know what would be fun is if we took kind of this setting and this idea and just gave it like a really far left horror bent. And that became The Infant, was just take a sailing story and make it horror as hell. And then sort of the specifics. It's interesting. That story started very like, it was more about the work of the ship, about like how horrifying the conditions were and like sort of the long hours and the undesirable conditions and then like this kind of typified, you know, in sort of an Alien way, where Alien is about sending a bunch of miners to their death to go collect a species that you might be able to profit from. Yep. This was sort of the same thing. But as I told the story and as it evolved more, it became a lot more personal, and it sort of becomes about like one character in specifics, like fear of fatherhood, and what it means to come back home and meet your child. And in that became, I think, a lot more interesting. And I'm really kind of proud of how it turned out from a writing perspective.
That's freaking awesome.
Does the last page end with "Game over, man"?
What a total shift that would be.
You find out they're actually on the spaceship from Alien.
Oh man, like oh gosh, what was that movie? The Sphere.
Oh yeah,
right. They're on the bottom of the ocean, and it's when they go and they see the sphere, they're reflected in it, and then their reflection floats up, and they're actually like somehow trapped inside this gigantic, I don't know, illusion of their own fears.
How weird.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever
Silent
seen this.
Hill, but make it worse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, that was a cool movie.
Not worse, no, but just
listen,
more abstract.
I'm super excited. And I'm super excited to read MechaTon 2. So,
yeah.
I too am extremely excited to read both MechaTon 1 and 2.
Yeah,
like I hear good things. I'm sure it'll be fun.
Oh my gosh, my reading stack. I'm looking down at all these. Oh god, it's so freaking big. It never ends.
You guys need to
go
go
on my
better.
desk right now.
Yeah.
Most of it is by the horns, but there's more.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not just that.
Stack over here on the desk, like 3 stacks down on the floor because I don't have enough space for a light.
That's why we offer Tim's secret stash on all of our.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do not take the Kickstarters that I've got laying around and just repackage someone's Kickstarter. I do actually take them out of my own collection that I bought from Pulp. So,
sorry, I'm ripping on you.
Yeah.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Happy.
So what are your goals after you're done with this campaign? Have you started issue 3, issue 4? How far are you going?
I just got done with the first draft of issue 4, actually.
Cool.
And I'm always reticent to be like, oh, and it's, issue 4 is going to be so much fun. It's like the entire series is a lot of fun. And I don't want to just like lead people on like, oh, eventually it'll, get even more fun. But I do think it is like,
there's so much fun. It's overflowing with fun.
Yeah, I do think it is like going to some pretty cool places, and I'm excited about kind of being able to get it all out. Um, yeah, we're working on. Obviously, we're doing MechaTon 2 right now. We got the thumbnails in a little bit earlier this week. We're going into inks. Everything should be flowing pretty smoothly. Fingers crossed.
How long do you
MechaTon.
think it'll go?
I
Like
think
in your head, like where do you want it to go? 50?
where do I want the story to go? Oh, how many issues?
How many issues?
So the first arc is going to be. I think it's going to end at 5, maybe 6 if I'm just completely go off on a tangent for some reason, but probably 5. And then we need to do some soul searching and see if it's going to be 10 or 15 total issues for like the story that we have set up.
Sure.
I think MechaTon is rich enough with its concept that, like, you know, in a wild world, if this was the 90s and we were in Image, we could go to issue 50, 60, 70, whatever. But realistically, we have a lot of stories that we want to tell. And, you know, who knows? Maybe a publisher picks it up and is like, no, we want more. This is a cash cow. You know, these are all infinitesimally just deliberately wrong pipe dreams that I am stating. But it could happen, I guess. And if that was the case, like if I had to work on MechaTon every day, darn, you know, that sucks. I guess.
Sounds terrible. It sounds terrible to work on your story every day. Sounds horrible.
Yeah, no, Dalton and I are absolutely in love with this story, and you know, if we could write it every day, we would, but we also have a lot more to tell that we're definitely working toward. The next Kickstarter actually is not even MechaTon. The next Kickstarter is a action horror pulpy love letter to Universal horror monsters and
does it got a title?
Frankenstein the Unconquered.
Oh my god, Jesus! I knew that.
It's all good. No, it's cool.
My brain's not working. So when's that start? When's that launch?
I believe it launches March the 28th.
Nice.
We're going toward like end of March. I want to give myself a nice break between this Kickstarter and the next one.
Yeah.
Do well, also run back-to-back Kickstarters.
Yeah, that just seems exhausting.
Oh my god, yeah.
I want to do 5 this year. I want to see if I can do 5 and
nice.
And fingers crossed by the end of it, we've got something resembling like Cat Calamia situation where every Kickstarter pulls in like 10 grand, and I can just be like, okay, so my job is for benefits, and so I'm not bored at night, and that's it. I don't have to care anymore.
I mean,
Cat's done an amazing job. Like she's really
she's killing
fantastic following, yeah.
Isn't
that what we're all trying to do too on that platform, at least for the next year? However long it lasts.
Yeah, is pick up steam and followers and see what you can do.
What a kick in the gut all that move must have been to the folks who have spent years and years, like I think Iron Circus. But
yeah,
you know, they've also been able to. And this is why people always say, don't just count on the platform to continue to exist. Take all that and cultivate your own internal mailing lists. You know, take that data, make sure you've got it for yourself. Because in Iron Circus, she's been able to, over the 10 years, she built up like a mailing list of over 40,000 customers. Jesus. So when she looked at a whole bunch of different other platforms, right? Like we're obviously going to run on Zoop March 1st. I will post that link too. But she just went and decided, I'm going to completely DIY this, just do a big pre-sale campaign for her next book on her own website. And within a day or two, it was completely funded. You know, which isn't terribly different from what her success on Kickstarter had been. It was usually within 24 hours completely funded or almost there. And
right. So and when you have a massive following like that, they'll immediately pick it up.
Yep.
What is heartbreaking about Kickstarter becoming sort of less popular via their own stupid actions, is it was the premier, immediately recognizable tool for someone to come in and build an audience. Even now, if I look at the analytics, I guarantee like 40 to 50% of people who backed MechaTon found it on Kickstarter.
Really?
Through in one way or another. Like a large percentage is people who backed the previous one, and there's obviously a core group of our fans that I know anything that we put out they'll be down for. But we started very, very recently. Our first our first Kickstarter campaign was in May of last year.
Right.
We're less than a year old as far as the internet is concerned. So our core audience is there, but it's small, and we're going to need to build it up before we can realistically just be like, well, buy it directly from us on our website.
Right.
Hey, and it's a funny thing with us. We kept pouring over our data, and it's like you can see how Kickstarter will very loosely label stuff as being discoverable, depending on the way that they
You have to take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, absolutely. But far and away, it was, a man. There's no contest between the handful of backers that came in through just finding us scrolling through casually through Kickstarter, and then folks who saw the campaigns because of our own messaging or because of other people retweeting our stuff.
Our month long of insanity.
Yeah.
So, for sure.
That's, I think, and we, for both of them, we got that Project We Love tag, and it was more about the noise we created ourselves and our fans created. So it's really funny trying to wrap your head around like why is that so non-uniform, and I think that was part of the decision for us to go ahead and try Zoop. Was that, like we're the ones driving most of the traffic to these campaigns.
Yeah.
So let's not be so apprehensive about it and just go and try.
I'm very curious about Zoop.
Yeah.
I'm watching it really closely. I want to see how the campaigns do on it. And I'm not counting it out by any means. It seems pretty obviously, pretty like nakedly, it's not as big of a platform as Kickstarter is.
Mm-hmm.
Like clearly, it just can't be. It's again like 1 year old. It just doesn't have the user base yet. But like if comics can get consistently funded on Zoom, then that's a good sign. That's great.
Yeah, I've been checking a look at their running campaigns right now, and they're getting a pretty good success rate. Not to be shameless in my plugging, but let me see my calendar there. I had it flipped up. What's next March? Jeez. I can't remember what month we're in. So next month, March 18th, Jordan Plosky, the CEO of Zoop, will be joining me on our regular Friday night live stream.
Very cool.
Yes. So, and I want to say the week before that, we'll have Brittany Matter on with Ryan as he hosts that week on March 11th, and she'll be running a Zoop. And obviously,
I'm excited for
Ryan will have the Target Zoop going on, so they'll be able to talk a lot from like the creator side of having those. And then the next week it'll be me and Jordan chatting about everything. So I think
let's talk about that week because we'll be neck deep in targets.
Yep,
at that point,
that's for sure. But yeah, hopefully those couple weeks there, a lot of people will watch the live streams and be able to learn a little bit more about Zoop and have some of their questions answered, or just maybe a little bit of the uncertainty about the platform.
I just want everybody to be successful, and to get people to do what they want to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I'm not trying to stand here and be a big cheerleader for them. Obviously, we've got some incentive for people to go to the platform, but like Chris and I have been pretty impressed with what they've been offering and the customer service touch and the ability to kind of affects a lot of things, and I think that there's just not enough people talking about, especially, you know, there's not enough being known that you can modify so much with your campaign even after it launches, right? Where like Kickstarter, you're pretty much locked in from the start. It's very, very easy for us to go back to the folks who are on Zoop and be like, hey, we would like to add in this backer reward, or we'd like to add in some more add-on items, or you can change the length of the campaign after it launches. You can change things like your funding goal. So it's extremely flexible. I think that needs to be talked about a little bit more.
Sure.
And understood.
I would like Kickstarter just to kind of come out and actually elaborate on what they want to do. Because maybe, I'm not completely against the idea of blockchain if it's done smartly or well, or, they have some sort of idea that's not going to wreck everything.
Yeah,
into the world,
it's a big question mark, and right now, it seems to be, at least from my perspective, what pretty much all tech bro, blockchain, NFT, shit like that projects are, which are a lot of hype over a buzzword with nothing backing it up.
Yep.
I don't know what Kickstarter even means by we're going to be on the blockchain. I know it's
what's
like
the meaning behind it.
Yeah. Do you mean you're going to put your like financials and or not financials, but like your like ledger and like financial transactions and sort of what the history of the website on a ledger that can't be easily like manipulated? Cool, whatever. I mean, it doesn't do anything. Are you going to use proof of work to like make sure that it doesn't get screwed up? Because that has all sorts of horrifying environmental impacts. There are lots of really complicated little questions in all of this, and they're not answering any of them right now, which leads me to believe that they said the word blockchain to get tech bros excited, because by and large, the biggest thing that pushes money on Kickstarter is the tech stuff.
Yeah.
It's like it's video games, and then every speculative technology idea in the world, and then like number 2 under that is comics, but that is a drop in the ocean.
It's a distant number 2.
I did a fool thing by looking on the Kickstarter app, and instead of saying recommended for me, specifically comics, I just said recommended for me, and the number 1 thing was a yacht. Not a yacht. Do you know Yacht Club Games? They made Shovel Knight.
Yeah.
They're making a new game. They're doing the same aesthetic, pixel art, very like Game Boy kind of nostalgia kind of thing. And it had 12,000 backers and over $700,000 pledged to it. And I was like, all of comics could come together and probably not raise $700,000 in a month.
No, what comics drives into them is so inconsequential. I don't know why anybody thinks that Kickstarter is going to care about what any of us have to say. Like,
it is by their own admission the second most popular category on their site. The problem is the money is like the share of money is just that much smaller for comics and technology, because comics don't ostensibly make it cost as much. But.
So you're saying it's like being the number 5 publisher in comics versus the number 2?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like it's number 1 is such a massive share that number 2 is barely consequential.
Yeah. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
Welcome to comics.
Don't have the time or patience to wait for Kickstarter to magically answer my questions, because I don't think that they'll bother to answer my questions. I don't matter enough to them. Yeah. And at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure that all of these actions are setting them up for an IPO in a few years. That's my suspicions on it all.
My attitude right now is that people are still on Kickstarter. Kickstarter is still a good tool.
Oh yeah.
Nothing about Kickstarter has really changed yet.
No,
And
not
so
yet.
until we get concrete proof that something
Yeah.
actually nebulous and bad is happening, then I'm going to continue on Kickstarter and continue looking and seeing
Oh,
what
yeah.
my other options are. But I am, at this point, going to gravitate toward the thing that makes the most sense.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we're still going to support the folks putting their work on Kickstarter.
Right.
That's no reason to punish.
You can't punish creators
No.
for the decisions
For using
that are
the
made
one
by-
platform. And, like, yeah, at this
platform,
point...
Yeah.
At this point, if I launch a campaign tomorrow with no fanfare or anything, an email goes out to everyone who's ever supported me
Yep.
because I'm doing it on Kickstarter. And so you also have to weigh the logistical options of like, okay, well, moving to Zoop, theoretically, I would like to move to a more comics-oriented kind of crowdfunding campaign. But I also have to do a lot of legwork to make sure that everyone knows that they're doing their campaign on that site instead of the one that I've always done it on.
And we're in that. We're probably fortunate that we're in a spot where we're so early in our own, our own timeline. We're still in our first year of operating. That if we're going to make that jump, let's just do it now rather than continue to further and further invest ourselves in a platform that has stated within a year they're going to no longer be viable for us.
Sure.
Right. And in the meantime, we're going to take all the email addresses and stuff from the backers from our Kickstarter campaigns and make sure we're building our own mailing list.
For sure.
Yeah, I think it. I mean, over even the last week, and I know we're over an hour, and I don't want to keep you for too much longer because
I'm doing
Tim
fine.
and I are both super boring.
He was talking to me, not you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm talking that time. I think it just, being as young of a company as we are, and I have backed Kickstarter stuff since, I don't know, its inception, right? Like, so to see it kind of, it just seemed a little bit suspicious to me and just very uncharacteristic of a platform that I was used to, I guess, over, I don't know, the last decade. Has it been a decade? Probably pretty close.
Yeah.
And,
No, they've been around for about that long. And I remember when it was still like very niche.
I don't want, like, when this first all came out and, the comics discourse hit a fever pitch, I'm still sitting there saying, okay, that's fine. We can be mad at the platform if we want to, but you have to understand that there's so many creators out there and there's so many different people that rely on this because they don't want to go to the other one because of, it sucks.
Because of the hashtag of which we do not speak. Yeah.
Exactly. And there really isn't anywhere else to go. And unless you have that following already built to where you can essentially do your own thing, you have to have some sort of platform to do it. So, I think one of the more muted points I made during all that discourse when it went down was we can't forget about everybody else. So we're taking the steps to see what Zoop does and how we do on it, and maybe we can help it become a more viable option down the short term. But
there's going to be a lot of eyes on it between now and the end of 2022.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
No, people are watching very closely.
So, I hope that we're going to be very successful on that platform, and then that success helps bring more and more people in and understand that it is going to be a viable platform to help. So it'll be interesting to see how this entire year goes for like so many different reasons, but it's exciting.
I feel like the attitude of everyone right now is like, we live in exciting times. I really wish we didn't, but we live in very exciting times.
I like boring times. Yeah, I like to go stand in very cold water and fly fish. So I think I like boring things. But
I like to not have to worry about a war starting in a couple of days. Who knows what's going to happen?
The best thing about that is that it won't involve me.
Yeah.
I like archery, so I'm going to go with that's like a middle ground between you two.
Yeah.
You have the mustache for archery.
Dude,
I have
not dressing up like
it's not just a mustache.
If you don't have a Robin of Locksley outfit, I don't want to.
Yeah, like Carrie Ewell's from
Seriously.
Robin Hood Men in Tights, though.
You're like a perfect stunt double for him.
Yeah.
I could pull
Honestly.
it off.
Was that you being thrown down the mountainside in Princess Bride?
I'll never tell.
As you wish.
I was gonna say, like, you should have said "as you wish" right there.
Yeah, you should have. Yeah, you missed
Missed
it.
that
I
one.
got it for you.
Yeah.
I'll be your little John. I'm not as big as that guy, but man, that was such a good movie.
Yeah.
Just sit here and quote Robin Hood Men in Tights lines.
Oh, that was such a good John Little.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be a sad day when Mel Brooks dies.
Honestly,
right?
the best part is when you have Mel Brooks coming through as a rabbi selling circumcisions, and Little John's like, "I'll take 2."
It's like, well, what I do is I take my little machine and I take your little thing and whoop, nip the tip. Whoa.
Oh my
Well,
god.
never mind then. Okay. Maybe is that where we end it today?
I think so. I think nip the tip
Okay.
is probably a good
Nip the
place
tip
to
is where we end it.
cut it off. But...
Well, you have a good sports ball day.
Oh, do we
And-
want to make predictions on the game from 3 people who know jack shit?
I predict that the
predict
Bills
that
would have been
in-
better.
I predict that in 2 years, no one's going to remember who played.
Hell yeah. Next year. Who played the Super Bowl last year? The Rams and
I don't know.
was it
Not-
Kansas City? No.
Well, it wasn't the Bills, so who
It
fucking
wasn't
cares?
the fucking Bills.
It wasn't the Bills. This is why I like New Yorkers. You care about New York and fuck everyone else.
Exactly. It's
New York-
yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
New York's
New York
big
sucks
enough.
as a state to live in.
No,
I'm sure. It's cold as
You don't think
shit.
so? All right, maybe
No.
not. It's
I told you, I have lived
We have better
in
pizza.
Kentucky,
Kentucky
Georgia,
sucks ass. Georgia's
I've-
okay.
West Texas, Central
Texas is the
I've
worst.
been through Kansas a good bit. You know, been through pretty much most of the South. I came back to New York because I was like, everything else sucks. I like
You
New
missed the
York.
snow.
Okay, so here's my question: why didn't you go to like Michigan or Oregon or someplace or Colorado or someplace cool?
Ooh,
You
Oregon
can't just
would be-
go to the armpit of the nation. And I say that as a native armpitter, all right? As a native person from this part of the world. You can't just go to the armpit of the nation and be like, "Yup, everywhere but where I'm from sucks." Like, you have to try out the cool places too.
I had to go where I was sent.
Yeah, he was forced
Yeah.
That's fair.
through the
Yeah,
military.
and
It's okay.
to be fair, like the army towns generally all suck, so you do have to travel outside of them.
Oh, so you were in Jacksonville. Yeah.
No,
No, you didn't go to Arkansas. Never mind. You didn't say you
no,
were going.
I drove through Arkansas and I was like, these fucking roads suck. These people
Yeah,
need
they
these people need taxes.
Correct. No, correct. No,
People need
Okay,
social
here's what
programs.
people don't understand about Arkansas. Arkansas is like the 48th, 40 like in the bottom 5 poorest nations in the
Yeah.
in the
States.
country.
I mean,
However,
If they secede someday, they might be the poorest nation in North America.
you know what I meant.
Oh yeah, I know.
Fucking
However-
pedantic.
And Arkansas is not the one who wants to secede. That's Texas and
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
and Alabama. But the
And
other
Kentucky.
the other quirk about Arkansas is that 5 of the top 10 Fortune 500 companies in the United States are based out of Arkansas.
Really? See, I didn't know that.
There is an insane amount of wealth in the state.
Hmm.
It is just not distributed.
Nope.
It is collected into like Tyson, Walmart, Stevens. Like, it is an incredibly small amount of people that own a ridiculous amount of wealth and don't want anything to change, and so it never will.
Yeah.
Rant about Arkansas over.
Okay. And with that,
How much more can you rant about Arkansas?
So much,
Really?
Tim. So much. You have no. I lived there for 25 goddamn years.
it's a long time.
It's got weird fucking dirt.
It's got weird
Um,
dirt. Wait, what?
It does. It's
it?
like red clay.
It is rose. But it's beautiful. That is the thing. That is the saving grace. It is so
It doesn't
naturally
taste good.
gorgeous. Rosemary grows there naturally. That's it, like a weed. Like, you can't get
Yeah.
rid of it. That's how beautiful Arkansas is.
Rosemary, the least good of the spices.
I don't know.
Disagree. Hard
try-
disagree.
I had chives that would grow and grow and grow. I had finally killed them by digging them up by the roots and feeding them to my deer. But
All right, we're
way off
real
topic.
We're
there.
way
right
so,
now.
so far off.
oh man,
Let's-
this is the thing. I can go on and on about
He can, so
the
I'm
different
gonna
states.
I'm
So,
gonna take
yeah.
over. And
Yeah.
Sure thing.
all right. Wells, thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Thank
It's
you
been a
for
pleasure. Thank you for writing such a great comic, and congratulations on issue 2 funding.
Yeah, I cannot take the credit solely. MechaTon lives and dies by its creative team.
Yeah,
Myself and Dalton both take writing responsibilities. Fernando Pinto on art, Megan Casey on colors, Nathan Kempf on letters. Everyone brings their A game. It is a beautiful comic in no small part because of their efforts, not just mine.
and you deserve many accolades, not just from Matt Ligeti.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm looking forward to my Granty and probably no other awards this year.
Your Bardy. We'll give those out.
Barty.
Bardy.
We're just gonna copy Grant and
Yeah,
make a
exactly.
Barty.
Yeah, and actually, everybody who gets a Granty automatically gets a Bardy. So we're just going to retweet his Granty nomination, and
That's what we should do. Quote tweet every single one of them.
if he makes,
And you
if,
also
if,
want a Barty.
if there's a graphic this year, we'll just save the graphic and
Yeah.
we'll cross out Granty and just write Barty over it. Send it
Keep
back
his
off.
face on the statue. But
Yeah.
it's okay.
We'll tag him in each one and just
Yeah.
be like, we're hijacking this. So
All right,
I
Grant,
100%
we just put you on notice.
yeah, so, no. Yeah, he won't watch this.
Grant,
Maybe
don't
you will.
fuck up your tweets. We're depending on it.
Okay, we're done. Wells, are you there?
Oh, he
Did
might.
we lose you? I see you a little bit. You're just your smile's frozen, which will look good. I'm gonna turn that into a meme later.
Yes, I'm still here.
Mm.
Okay, we're gonna let you go. So, thanks
Oh,
for
good.
hanging out with
No,
us.
I love being a meme. Yeah, I know everyone's thing is reloading now.
Yeah, that's all right.
appreciate you.
Okay, on that.
We need to
On that terribly
do
disappointing
we need
note.
to do this again for
Yeah, let's.
As I was
No,
saying,
let's
we need to
do-
do this
let's do it
again
again
for the fulfillments. Let's do what?
Yeah,
Ooh.
and let's talk more when we have more time. So, we'll keep hanging out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like
No, I was
that.
saying I paid for that final gamble thing, so now you owe me. You
Yeah,
owe me
it's
another
coming.
conversation.
I promise.
Nah, I appreciate you.
Sweet. Hey,
No,
have a good
no,
Sunday. Okay.
I'm sure you will schedule it when you have time, but yeah, you too. Super great to be on. Thank you for inviting me. Really
It was great having
Thank-
you.
yeah,
Hope we
thanks for
weren't too
having us.
awkward. and
excited to see
ridiculous.
targets. It looks really cool.
Me too. I haven't seen it yet.
You're like, I'm the publisher. I do not know what is in this comic. Oh Lord.
And
Okay, we're done. See